Hello, everyone. We're here back with another episode of Plug into Devon. And today we've got with us Aaron Dekeyzer, who is running for the Salt Lake City Council District 6 seat. That's the area that covers Draper, Sandy, Midvale, Cottonwood Heights, Alta, and Brighton. My gosh, it's a big area, about 90,000 voters. He is also a realtor and has a master's degree in eco-psychology. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. You suggested, tell us what you want to talk about today.
I'd like to talk about dark skies.
I think that is a really, really exciting topic because I think most people don't know anything about it. What is the concept of dark skies? What are you talking about?
Yeah, so for the sake of transparency too, let me just state that I also serve as the board chair for the newly formed Utah chapter of the International Dark Sky Association. But dark skies, it's not about turning off the lights, it's just about having appropriate lighting. So there's two fundamental principles. One is just to use the light when you need it, where you need it, and that's by directing it downward to its intended target. And then another important element is just that it's the correct temperature. So a warm, white, soft glow light.
Wow. Now, I understand the idea of pointing the light downward to where the people are instead of skyward. But what does the temperature have to do with our experience of seeing dark skies?
Sure. So as cities have transitioned to retrofit LEDs in the name of energy efficiency, which is great, a lot of them are doing it at a color temperature that has detrimental unintended consequences. So for example, Seattle in the early 2000s retrofitted their streetlights to 4,000 Kelvin. Kelvin is a temperature scale. So like a fire, for example, is like 1,500 Kelvin, and then daylight is approximately 8,000 Kelvin. So you go from a warm to a blue rich wavelength of light. And so that 4,000 number that these cities are transitioning to has unintended consequences for human health and the environment. Also greater reflectivity off of the pavement. So it actually increases the sky glow and decreases the ability to see the night sky.
So what temperature range is more healthy for us?
You want to be 3,000 or fewer. That's actually what the American Medical Association claims since 2016 for human and environmental health.
Yeah. Does that influence at all the how we experience the light? Or does it how do we feel differently about the dimmer light, or is it dimmer? It's a different color temperature. I'm trying to understand how that relates to dimness and brightness.
Yeah, so the argument to have 4,000 over 3,000, for example, used to be what's called color rendering index. So it's the ability of the human eye to perceive an object accurately. And that no longer is an issue. You have 3,000 Kelvin bulbs that can render accurately the color of an object compared to 4,000 now. So the issue is obviously, safety is a huge part of this. You want to be able to see your intended target. And so the technology has just come along such a way that it isn't much of an issue in the color rendering index. Some people have different preferences for a warmer color or a cooler color, but the health effects of the cooler color have become more and more researched. If you recall in the 90s, when everyone is using their PDAs and all of a sudden people are having trouble sleeping and stuff like that, it's because that blue, specifically in that spectrum, there's more blue rich white LEDs. And so that spectrum uniquely affects human circadian rhythm. It's being linked to obesity, cancer, etc. And it's just brighter overall, which is worse for the environment.
So a lot of our devices now have a setting to turn off the blue light in the evenings if we want it, right?
Sure, yeah, you can set your device to go into night mode or whatever it's called, and then you can visibly notice the color change.
Yeah. Well, what is the psychological benefit? This is really your expertise, right? What is the psychological benefit and the social benefits of having darker skies? What's the goal?
Yeah, well, so from an eco-psychologist's perspective, a lot of the work in that field is reconnecting humans with nature. So we're becoming more and more disconnected as time goes on and eco-alienated. And there, by experiencing the Milky Way or deep night sky, that there is nothing quite like the experience, that sense of awe that comes from observing the Milky Way. And the mission of the International Dark Sky Association is just to preserve our night sky for our heritage, because it's something that's uniquely a human experience. And we are now amongst the first generation that will not have that experience in their lifetime. So from an eco-psychological perspective, to be able to have that connection with nature does something uniquely healthy for the soul. On a social level, we want to have energy efficiency, right? Which we're doing, but we just have to make sure that we're doing it in the most appropriate way so that we're not facing these unintended effects.
Yeah. Well, Aaron, this has been a great discussion. I really appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us for this. Before you go, I want to ask one last question, and that is, what is your superpower?
Honestly, it's an ability to connect with people.
Excellent. That is a really powerful superpower, especially for a politician. So we wish you good luck in your race. Before you go, tell people how they can learn more about your campaign and, if you'd like, about your business.
Yeah, you can visit dekeyzer.com. That's my campaign website. My real estate business is Living Wasatch. You can visit livingwasatch.com to learn more about my real estate services.
Okay, and spell Dekeyzer for those who are listening to this on a podcast.
Yeah, it's Dekeyzer.
Fantastic. Well, Aaron, again, thank you very much for joining us today. We wish you every success.
Great, thank you very much.
All righty, let's do some good.
I'm Devin Thorpe. For the last 8 years, I've been working full-time to eradicate extreme poverty, improve global health, and fight climate change. I've concluded that the best way for me to continue my work is to run for Congress to represent the people of Utah's 3rd District. In Utah, we have common shared values. Those things unite us. I believe passionately in our ability to come together, and I believe that working together, we can solve Utah's problems. I'm Devin Thorpe. I'm a Democrat. I'm running to represent the people of Utah's 3rd District.
I'm Devin Thorpe, a candidate for Congress, and I approved this message.